Cuzco is a city with a rich history. It was the capital of the Incan Empire for 200 years, but excavations indicate that it was inhabited as much as 3,000 years ago. Many believe that the city was planned as an effigy in the shape of a puma, which is a sacred animal. The head of the puma was the Sacsayhuaman sector. Researchers think that Sacsayhuaman was the residential area for wealthy nobles and contained rich houses, temples and squares for religious ceremonies. Others believe it was the House of the Sun. It was not a fortress and was demolished by the Spanish invaders, who then took 80% of the stones away to create their own buildings. The ruins are impressive walls with perfectly fit stones about 6 meters tall. Estimates for the weight of the largest limestone block vary between 130 and 200 tons. The Sacred Valley of the Incas, or Urubamba Valley in the Andes, is the place of birth of the Inca civilization. Due to its special geographical qualities, the valley boasts exceptional fertility and good climate. It runs between Pisac and Ollantaytambo. The agricultural terraces are built with retaining walls and infilled in 3 layers, the first being gravel, the second sand, and the third and top layer fertile soil which had been transported from lower down in the valley. The terraces contain different plant species which are capable of growing at different elevations. Holes have been carved into the rock face and are tombs. The dead were buried in the fetal position. Ollantaytambo is located 90 kilometers northwest of Cuzco and dates from the late 15th century. It has some of the oldest continuously occupied dwellings in South America. It still uses the water supply system that was built during the reign of Pachacuti. Archaeologists and historians believe that this structure is an unfinished temple. Manco Inca, the leader of the native resistance against the Spanish invaders, used this route to withdraw with his treasures and mummies to the heavily forested site of Vilcabamba, which has never been found. The Incas built several storehouses from fieldstones on the hills surrounding Ollantaytambo. Their location at high altitudes, where there is more wind and lower temperatures, protected their contents against decay. The most famous Inca legacy is undoubtedly the Inca Trail, an ancient set of pathways in the Andes that includes the route up to Machu Picchu. It begins 82 kilometers from Cuzco and passes over several mountain peaks. It takes 4 days to reach Machu Picchu. In just 38 kilometers, it manages to combine beautiful mountain scenery, lush cloud forest and subtropical jungle, and of course a stunning mix of Inca paving stone, ruins and tunnels, culminating in the arrival at Machu Picchu, the mysterious lost city of the Incas. The classic Inca Trail is highly regulated, with only 500 permits issued each day, and it is linked to your passport number. Pre-booking is essential, and as we found out, the booked name should be exactly the same as your passport. If not, it will cause delays and they may refuse you entry. The total of 500 permits will include the porters as well as tourists. The second day is the hardest, ascending 1,850 metres in total and over the highest pass at 4,215 metres above sea level. That's almost 14,000 feet. It is advisable to hire a porter who will carry your duffel bag, although this is not mandatory. The small duffel bag contains your clothes and sleeping bag for 3 to 4 days and must not weigh more than 5 kilograms. The maximum weight that a porter can carry on the trail has been limited to 20 kilograms. This will include his personal allowance of 4 kilograms. All that we have to carry is a day pack which holds our personal belongings such as camera, water, sunscreen and snacks. The porter is weighed at the start of the trail and then again at Huaylabamba at the start of the second day. This regulation was introduced in 2002 and has been strictly enforced. The porters will carry your bags together with all of the food and equipment for the trail. The equipment can include items such as gas canisters and chairs. The minimum age to become a porter is 18 years, through to a maximum age of 55. The porters are up early to prepare our breakfast. As we start the day's trek, they clear up and pack the bags and then start the trail. It's not long before they catch us up and overtake us. They arrive at the lunch stop, break out the equipment and make our lunch, all before we arrive. Again, after lunch they pack up, overtake us again on the trail and reach the night's campsite in time to put up our tents and start to prepare the evening meal. As well as our two-person tents, there is also a communal dining tent for eating and staying dry if it rains. The average altitude is 3,700 metres or 12,000 feet, and at this height altitude sickness is a distinct possibility. It is caused by the lack of oxygen, which can be up to a third less than at sea level. There's no apparent reason why some people are affected and others are not. Age, level of fitness and strength are no indication of how well you will fare. As the Inca Trail trek is a mixture of ascents and descents, altitude sickness is often short-term and suffering from it does not necessarily mean you won't be able to complete the trek. Many hikers carry poles which help to reduce the impact on your legs and joints. In addition, the poles can help you establish and maintain a consistent rhythm, and the extra 2 points of contact with the ground significantly increase your traction on slippery surfaces and over loose rock. The porters provide a small bowl of warm water for every person to freshen up when reaching camp and again when waking up each morning. Campfires are not permitted, so there is not a lot to do after dinner and we retire to bed early.
Early morning started.
The third day is the longest, travelling 13 kilometres. Here we can see Dead Woman's Pass. We've travelled down the mountainside, into the valley and back up to the top of the second pass. Over the top of the second pass the landscape changes significantly. Here we will find rainforest. We are travelling in a group of 10 people and are being supported by 14 porters and 1 guide. That's 1.5 support staff for every tourist.
Still on the way down, past the ruins. I've still got to go back up all the way for lunch, which was somewhere there.
The trail is usually closed once a year during the month of February for maintenance. This doesn't include removing rubbish left by the trekkers, since in order to keep the trail clean and tidy, all rubbish must be retained and carried back down the mountain by the porters. The duffel bags and equipment are checked to see that the expected weight reduction is within range for normal usage, otherwise fines may be imposed.
Happy as Larry. And who's first home?
We are. First and second
Hey.
for the first time.
Carvings on the rock with holes that probably are stars that represent different constellations.
The food provided by the porters and cook is nothing short of amazing. Breakfast of omelettes, a snack pack of fruit or chocolate to eat mid-morning, a 2-course lunch of soup and meat with pasta or rice, afternoon tea on arrival at camp with biscuits, and a 3-course dinner. All food is prepared, served and cleared away by the cook and porters, and the quality of the meals is incredible when you consider that all the ingredients and basic cooking equipment has been carried in. One day it was one of our porters' birthday, so they cooked a sponge cake and decorated it. It was enough for 25 people. The 4th day is the shortest walk up to the Sun Gate and then on to Machu Picchu, but it is an early 4 AM wake-up call and it's pitch black. We are first in the queue waiting for the 5 AM gate opening in order to see the sunrise over Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu was built in the middle of the 15th century and was not found by the Spanish colonizers. It was discovered in 1911 by an American scientist from Yale University called Hiram Bingham. However, if truth be told, the local population always knew about Machu Picchu, but were in no rush to share this information with strangers. Machu Picchu blends into the landscape with the triangular roofs of the buildings, looking as if they were part of the landscape. It is an engineering and architectural masterpiece. To build such a city, the builders must have had an extensive knowledge of topography, geology, astronomy and ecology, whilst the construction technology ensured the stability of the buildings, even in the case of earthquakes, for more than 400 years. The Incas, being highly skilled stonemasons, cut each stone to fit precisely with the next. They did not use cement. The stones were brought from distant quarries. They were pushed down inclined planes, slid on logs, and then crafted so perfectly that it is said that not even a blade of a knife fits between the stones. The true purpose of Machu Picchu is a mystery. According to the documents of the 16th century, it was a royal retreat for the Incan emperor Pachacuti, and after his death it became a place where the noble families would send their children for an education. The city existed for little more than 100 years, that is until 1532, when the Spanish colonizers invaded the empire. By that time the inhabitants of Machu Picchu had mysteriously disappeared. The construction of Machu Picchu was never fully completed. The site was abandoned during the Spanish conquest of the Inca Empire, leaving many buildings unfinished. In 1572 the last Inca stronghold was conquered, and the last ruler, Tupac Amaru, was captured and executed. This was the fall of the Inca Empire. In 1983, UNESCO designated Machu Picchu as a World Heritage Site.
The head, see this, the eyes, the peak, this the white color, the body, and wings.
Since 2007, Machu Picchu has been one of the 7th new wonders of the world.